What's going on, everyone? Let's finally address and have a discussion about something that I have yet to address on this channel, surprisingly, and I get comments and requests to this day, and that is Kyle Gallner's character, Vince. Now, many of you may have known, it's been in plain sight since the beginning of Scream 5, since they announced the official cast, that Vince does not have a last name. So let's dive down this rabbit hole, have our discussion per usual. Make sure you join it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, follow by the bell notification, stay up to date with all things Scream, join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. So, Vince. Well, obviously the big rumor and speculation is that Vince is Billy's kid. That's why they didn't do the last name, because his last name is really Loomis. I mean, look at the guy. He kind of has that look of like a Billy Loomis. Like, he looks like he could be his brother or his cousin or somewhere on the bloodline scale. So it does make a ton of sense that he would be Billy Loomis's son. Obviously, depending on the age of the character, but it seems like he's going to be somewhere in his mid-20s. If that's the case, then timeline-wise, it would make sense and really add up. Now, this very well could be the case. It's very likely that he will be that character, that he'll be, Vince Loomis, the son of Billy Loomis, maybe even not a son, maybe just a relative. And then thus all the speculation goes like, well, then is he the killer? Is he Ghostface? It has to be Ghostface. At the same time, maybe it's just like a full circle moment. Billy ended up being the killer. Vince, his son, turns out to be the good guy. I mean, that's a possibility too. Usually the consensus seems to be that Vince will be Ghostface, that he'll follow in the steps of his father, Billy. But at the same time, it would be a really cool full circle moment to see Vince sort of be that the end to that bloodline. Be the one to sort of turn the tides, turn the tables. I am not my father type thing. I think that'd be a really good story. I mean, obviously very reminiscent of, things like Star Wars, stuff like that. You got the father, who's the big villain, the one that's referenced throughout every film. And then later on, the son sort of takes on the mantle and becomes the hero. I would love to see something like that personally. It usually is a good story. It's a good heartfelt story. Well, the other sort of coin to this that I wanted to address, and I feel like it is more likely, to be honest, just given the fact of what we know Scream is. Scream is a sort of mystery. It's the whodunit. It's the Easter eggs. It's the subtleties. It's the throwing you off the scent. They've done a great job marketing from the beginning. They've done all these things. I mean, even on Twitter, they're making cryptic tweets, every day about to get us hyped, get us talking about, getting us speculated on this upcoming Scream 5 film. Well, who's to say that they didn't do that from the beginning with Vince? We've seen in tons of movies that a character will have like a fake last name just for like IMDb or whatever. And then that ends up being revealed later on to be the, main protagonist or whatever, and the last name is actually something else. My sort of thinking, and the reason I think this might be the most likely, is because not putting a last name at all immediately does what? Has everybody speculating, has all of us having discussions, has people, commenting in all my videos, like, what about Vince? What do you think of Vince? How do you feel about Vince? Is Vince going to be Ghostface? And it creates that buzz. And it's in a nice, again, great subtle way to get us talking about the film a year and a half ago or whatever it was now. It's a great way to get the ball sort of rolling because they know you put that out there and just put Vince. What is everyone going to do? They're going to speculate. Their wheels are going to be spinning like crazy. And mine did too from the jump. I'm actually surprised myself. I've never made a video. I just kind of have always had other things, and things have come awry, and I made plans and then something else would come up, and yeah. Anyway, back to the Vince thing is that, so I think it's very likely that they would do this as a way to sort of throw people off the scent and also make us speculate, because many people's problems with like the Judy theory is that Judy is too believable. Like, it would make too much sense for her to be a ghost face or be, the mastermind or something along those lines in this film because of giving her character in Scream 4. Well, couldn't you argue the same thing with Vince? I mean, if they blatantly put, Vince as without a last name, that is really obvious because anybody that looked up that cast list immediately noticed he doesn't have a last name. He has to be a Mocker or a Loomis or something along those lines. And then you give the look of him, it makes sense. Okay, is Billy's kid, and given the time, the 25 years, as long as he's in his 24 roughly, it would make sense timeline wise that he could be the son of Billy Loomis. Obviously, we know the story. He wasn't getting it to keep it, PG-13. He wasn't getting it from Sydney. So it's very likely he was getting it elsewhere. Given his, testosterone and the fact that he was killing people, it makes sense that he was going around, behind Sydney's back as well. So it's very likely that there could be a kid. Maybe his mother will be revealed in this film, and then that will sort of launch that last name. But even then, okay, it's very likely that anybody that had Billy's kid would have had a different last name than Loomis, right? Like, say, whatever, it was Stacy Smith. Then wouldn't his name be Vince Smith? And so then why not just have it be that? Why not just have it be Vince Smith in that? And then the big reveal is that he's really a Loomis. He's really Billy's kid. You get what I'm saying? Like, it would make more sense to go that route and have like a sort of, at least last name. And it's very likely that the mother, as soon as she found out what Billy did, wouldn't want to have her kid have his last name. So it's very likely that Vince would have a different last name than Loomis. So to me, it makes more sense that would be the case. That instead of having a different last name, you just throw it out there as Vince. And what does everybody do? Everybody just starts talking and running wild with the theories and ideas, and you immediately establish this hype. You immediately establish this discussion. I mean, I've seen tons of people talking about it. I've seen tons of videos. I see it in the groups that I'm a part of. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on all these things. So it clearly did its job. It built the hype. And it wasn't like an error. It wasn't like they put Vince and were like, oh, I forgot to put the last name. They never did. Like, to this day, if you look up Vince in Scream 5 or you look up the Scream 5 cast list, you don't see a last name for Vince. And so to me, that tells me that is deliberate. That tells me that the case and the matter is they did that to get us talking, get us buzzing. Now, does that mean that the theory of him being somebody's kid, specifically Billy's, yeah, it's a very real possibility. That could still very well be the case. I'm not saying that, no, there's no way that that's going to happen. I'm just saying it seems more likely, in my opinion, again, given what we know in regards to what the Scream franchise is, the way that they have been marketing and promoting this last, month or so, it makes more sense to me that Vince was done deliberately. Like, that character name was left without a last name to throw off the scent, to get people excited, to get people talking, to get a buzz, to have somebody like me, a year and a half later, finally make a video about it and everyone interact and discuss on it. So make sure you're joining the discussion down in the comments below. But all in all, that's just my take on it. As always, like I said, this is a discussion and I want to hear from you. What do you think? Do you agree with me and think that it's just sort of like a very clever, creative marketing ploy? Again, these radio silence people and the marketing team on this Scream are great. I mean, they are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, all of the promotions, even the Dewey promotion, I've said it countless times. I cannot praise these people enough on how well that they are going about this film, building that anticipation, building that hype. So I just think that was just sort of the beginning in the beginning of the marketing without really publicly marketing. And so I'd love to know if you agree with me, if that is something that you see as well, or do you think that no, this is really, this is the case. He doesn't have the last name because it's Loomis, because it's, he's Billy's kid, and thus he's going to be the killer or the hero. And that's another thing I'd love to hear. What do you think? Do you think he's the killer, or do you think that it'll be a full circle moment and he'll actually be the hero that steps up and saves the day, unlike his father? I'd love to know all these things. But again, just keep in mind, to close this video, keep in mind, why didn't they add a fake last name? We've seen it in other movies. Or why didn't they just have the mother's last name? Because it's very likely that the mother never had Loomis as her kid's last name, whoever the mother is. If it is the case, then we'll find out in the film. But if not, I think it's much more likely. But anyways, don't forget to like this video. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Stay up to date with all things Scream. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.